keys to human nature. Then weeks go by. Then weeks go by and we are forced to reaccess what had happened and how had reacted. New information comes to light. The person who was not responding to us was himself overwhelmed with work. If only we had just waited and not been so impatient, we could have avoided pushing away a valuable ally. The problem we tried to solve was not really so urgent, and we made it worse by rushing an outcome. We needed to know more before acting. And that new friend ends up not being so charming. In fact, time reveals her to be a destructive sociopath, whose friendship takes us years to heal from. A little more distance could have led us to see the red flags and before it was too late. Looking back on our life, we see that we have a tendency to be impatient and to overreact. We notice patterns of behavior over long periods of time that elude us in the moment but become clearer to us later on. What this means is that in the present moment we lack perspective. With the passage of time, we gain more information and see more of the truth. What was invisible to us in the present now becomes visible in retrospect. Time is the greatest teacher of them all, the revealer of reality. For us humans, locked in the present moment, it's as if we are living at the base of the mountain. What is most apparent to our eyes, the other people around us, the surrounding forest, gives us a limited, skewed vision of reality. The passage of time is like a slow ascent up the mountain. The emotions we felt in the present are no longer so strong. We can detach ourselves and see things more clearly. The further we ascend with the passage of time, the more information we add to the picture. What we saw 3 months after the fact is not quite as accurate as what it comes to know a year later. Mostly hindsight. But there isn't in fact a way for us humans to manufacture the effect of time to give ourselves an expanded view in the present moment. We can call this in a far-sighted perspective, and it requires the following process. First, facing a problem, conflict, or some exciting opportunity, we train ourselves to detach from the heat of the moment. We work to calm down our excitement or our fear. We get some distance. Next, we start to deepen and widen our perspective in considering the nature of the problem we are confronting. We don't just grab for an immediate explanation, but instead we dig deeper and consider other possibilities, other possible motivations for the people involved. We force ourselves to look at our overall context of the event, not just what immediately grabs our attention. We imagine especially again the negative consequences of the various strategies we are contemplating. We consider how the problem or apparent opportunity might play itself out over time, how other problems or issues not apparent in the moment might suddenly loom larger than what we immediately dealing with. We focus on our long-term goals and realign our priorities in the present according to them. In other words, this process involves a distance from the present, a deep look at the source of problems, a wider perspective on the overall context of the situation, and a look further into the future, including the consequences of our actions and our own long-term priorities. As we go through this process, certain options and explanations will begin to seem more logical and realistic than others that grabbed us in the moment. We added to this the lessons we have learned over the years about our own patterns of behavior. In this way, though we cannot recreate the full impact that time has on our thinking, we can approximate it. Most often, the passing months give us even more information and reveal better options for us to have taken. We are manufacturing this effect in the present by widening what we consider and opening our minds. We are moving up the mountain, such as elevator perspective can calm us down and make it easier for us to maintain our presence of mind as events unfold. Hmm. Keys to human nature. From early on in life, we humans develop a defensive and a self-protective side to our personality. It begins in early childhood as we cultivate a sense of personal physical space that others should not violate. It later expands into a feeling of personal dignity. People should not coerce or manipulate us into doing things we don't want to. We should be free to choose what we desire. There are necessary developments in our growth as socialized humans. As we get older, however, these defensive qualities often solidify into something much more rigid, and for good reason. People are continually judging and appraising us. Are we competent enough, good enough, a team player? We never feel quite yet we never feel quite free of this scrutiny. One noticeable failure in our lives, and people's scrutiny will turn into negative judgments. They can cripple us for a long time. Furthermore, we have the feeling that people are always trying to take from us. They want our time, our money, our ideas, our labor. In the face of all of this, we naturally become more self-absorbed and defensive. We have to look after all our interests, since nobody else will. We set up walls around ourselves to keep out intruders and those who want something from us. Our minds loosen up, and suddenly new and very interesting ideas come to us, and we are open to doing things we would normally never do. In another instance, perhaps, we attend some public rally and hear the inspiring speaker advocating for a cause. The most telling example, however, occurs when I fall in love and the feeling is reciprocated. The other person appreciates and reflects back to us in our most positive qualities. We feel worthy of being loved. Under such a spell, we let go of our ego and our habitual stubbornness. We give the other person usually sway over our willpower. What these moments have in common is that we feel inwardly secure, not judged, but accepted by friends, the group, or the loved one. we see the reflection of ourselves in others. We can relax at our core. We feel validated, mm, not needing to turn inward and defensive. We can direct our minds and outward beyond our ego to a cause, a new idea, or the happiness of the other. Understanding, creating this feeling of validation is the golden key that will unlock people's defenses. This authority impacts our attitude. When we find ourselves in a situation needing to influence people, they sense our neediness and insecurity. We try hard to please. We seem ever so slightly desperate, defeated before starting. This can turn into negative self-fulfilling dynamic that will keep us marginalized without ever being aware of the source of the problem. Okay. This law is a this law is as follows. People have perception about themselves that we shall call their self-opinion. This self-opinion can be accurate or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is how people perceive their own character and worthiness. And there are the three qualities to people's self-opinion that are nearly universal. I'm autonomous, acting of my own free will. I'm intelligent in my own way. And I'm basically good and decent. When it comes to the first universal, I'm acting of my own free will. If we join a group or believe in something or buy a product, it is because we choose to do so. The truth might be that we are manipulated or succumbed to fear pressure, but we would tell ourselves in something else. If we ever feel consciously coerced, as in having to obey a boss, we either tell ourselves that we haven't chosen to obey, or we deeply resent being forced and manipulated. In the latter case, we may smile and obey, but we will find a way to secretly label. In other words, we feel the need to continually express and assert our free will. With the second universal, I'm intelligent, we may realize we are not on a level of Einstein, but in our field, in our own way, we are intelligent. With the third universal, I'm a good person. We like to see ourselves in supporting the right causes. I'm a free spirit, one of kind, or I'm very self-reliant and don't need anybody's help, or I'm good looking and I'm dependent on that, or I'm rebel and disdain all authority. You'll find this in various self-opinion isn't a feeling of spirituality in this one area. I'm a rebel and you're less so. Many of these types of self-opinions are related to developmental issues in early childhood. For instance, the rebel type had a father figure who disappointed him, or perhaps he suffered from bullying or cannot bear any feeling of inferiority. He must despise all authority. The self-reliant type may have experienced a very distant mother, be haunted by feeling of abandonment, and have cracked a self-image of loved independence. Our self-opinion is primary. It determines so much of our thinking and our values. In general, we will choose to belong to groups that violate our feeling of being noble and smart, We might think we have particular ideas or values that stand on their own, but in fact, they're dependent on our self-opinion. In a discussion that might turn into an argument, you make them feel stupid or brainwashed or less than good. Even if you're thorough in your arguments, the implication is that you know better, and this happens. You make people even more defensive and resistant. Walls go up, and walls go up that will never come down. You can leave their self-opinion in a neutral position, avoiding any emotional extremes. And in a harsh and competitive world in which we are prone to continuous self-doubt, we almost never get this validation that we crave. When you give it to people, you will have the magical effect that occurred when you yourself are drunk or in rally or in love. You will make people relax, no longer consumed by insecurities. They can direct their attention outward. Their minds open, make them susceptible to suggestion and insinuation. If they decide to help you, they feel like they are doing this of their own free will. Okay. First, when people tell you such things, you should be on the guard. We humans cannot stand feelings of powerlessness. Okay.